Report now claiming the Obama administration changed federal spying rules, making it a lot easier to unmask members of Congress.
Here to react, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. You've been all over this story.
Yeah.
Tell us more about this.
Well, we learned that in December, after Donald Trump had been elected and right before Barack Obama left office, very quietly, Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General of the United States, changed rules that permitted anyone who possessed raw intelligence data in any one of the government's 17 agencies that it recognizes publicly as being intelligence agencies to share it with anybody else. That was extremely novel, and it probably triggered the unmasking of then-President-elect Trump and General Flynn. We now learned just last night that back in 2013, General Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence, secretly authorized members of Congress to be unmasked by administrative officials who said they needed to know who was participating in the conversation. Raw intelligence data comes person A talking to person B.
Yeah.
If they can't figure out who it is and they need to know who they are, then they have A, unmasked, and then B, unmasked. The unmasking, pardon me, is only lawful if it's done for a national security purpose. If it's done for a political purpose, it's a felony.
Right.
This is something that Bob Mueller should be investigating, because the unmasking goes back deep into the Obama administration in an effort to embarrass President Trump and his allies in Congress.
Well, Rand Paul and Lindsey Graham both feel that they've been surveilled and they've asked the government about it. But you've got to explain why it looks like, to some, that these names were unmasked for political benefit, which is as wrong as it gets.
Well, when the unmasking occurs and you see anonymously sourced information in the Washington Post or the New York Times, then you know that a person who possessed raw intelligence data, classified material, either confidential, secret, or top secret, probably secret or top secret, committed a felony by releasing that to the media in order to embarrass, humiliate, challenge.
So that's a felony right there.
Absolutely. You know, you really never know who did this. Justice Scalia once told me he believed firmly that the court was being surveilled and was worried that some of them would be unmasked. He didn't use the word unmasking. We didn't know the word at the time. But he was concerned that the court's enemies had access to what justices were discussing at the Supreme Court, conversations that are supposed to be in secret. Sure. That might be released.
Judge, what are the dangers here? Why should the American public care about this?
The American public has come to believe that the government listening to everything we say, this is a listening device, we all carry these, and capturing every stroke on every mobile device and every laptop is for our own safety. The American public buys it. I reject it, you may reject it, but the American public accepts it. But when the people who possess this information have the ability to use it to harm us, not to protect us,
or to benefit themselves through political
Correct,
advantage.
Pete, correct. It's extremely dangerous. In fact, it's one of the gravest threats to democracy in the modern era, because the surveillance is of everyone all the time. Can you trust everybody that has all this raw data? Apparently not.
Is there a chance they were listening to President Trump during the campaign,
Absolutely.
listening to every word? And is there a point where we're going to get where they release his transcripts from his phone conversations?
There is not a chance that they were listening. It is certain that they were listening.
Right.
Who knows if they'll release the transcripts? But the intelligence community has them, and the people in the Obama administration, whom Jim Clapper authorized to do the unmasking, who are no longer in the government, they have them.
Shared it.
You know, Judge Napolitano doesn't need coffee if you ask him about unmasking, because it is so infuriating for all of us. Thank you
And
very
I
much.
haven't had my first espresso yet.
Oh, my goodness.
It's early. Judge, thank you.
After that.